Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today, I wanted to make just a really quick initial first impressions video about my thoughts on Black Ops 7. And I just want to start off by saying that I initially had no intention of making this video. So I don't have any notes or a script or anything like that. So I guess I'll just go off the cuff based on raw, pure emotion. And to be quite honest, I haven't even played that much Black Ops 7 yet. I played a handful of matches at the very end of the day yesterday, last night, right before I went to bed, but I guess after sleeping on it and thinking about it, I've come to realize that my initial reaction to the game is just so incredibly underwhelming, and it makes me sad, the current state of Call of Duty. So I wanted to say something about it. So what do I mean by underwhelming? Well, I have been playing Call of Duty for a very long time. I remember playing the first Call of Duty game. The campaign in that game absolutely blew me away. I've always been interested in the themes of Call of Duty, the whole military shooter thing, and playing the first Call of Duty, that game was just everything that I had always wanted in a video game. I really started getting into Call of Duty multiplayer with Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 is without question one of my favorite video games of all time. So the release of a brand new Black Ops game should be the most exciting thing that you could possibly think of for me right now. However, after jumping on the game last night, after just a couple of matches, I found that I was already exhausted. Let's talk about Black Ops 6 for a minute. Black Ops 6 was the first Call of Duty game that I have played since Call of Duty Cold War. I didn't play any Call of Duty games in between that. I kind of took a break from gaming, not because I wanted to, but because I had other things going on in my life, and I just didn't have the time and bandwidth for games. So I got back into gaming with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I was really excited for a brand new Black Ops game, and I just thought, this is absolutely perfect. I'm getting back into games. There's a brand new Black Ops game coming out. Black Ops is one of my favorite games of all time. This is going to be absolutely spectacular. Well, by Black Ops 6 Season 3, I had completely quit playing Call of Duty multiplayer. I had just gotten exhausted. And look, it's not that I'm exhausted with gaming. When it comes to gaming, I'm just getting started. I stream almost every day and I'm having an absolute blast doing it. I would game more if I just had the time to do it. What I'm exhausted with is the aggressive manipulation, the skill-based matchmaking algorithms, and the absolute mindless brain rot meat grinder that Call of Duty gameplay has turned into. It didn't always used to be this way. And look, I know Call of Duty has always been a fast-paced game. I know there's going to be people in the comments who are going to argue with me and they're going to tell me, Call of Duty's always been like this. Well, let me tell you, Chief, that ain't true. Call of Duty has always been fast-paced, but back in the day, when you got to learn the maps and you figured out some tactics and strategies, you could play those maps intelligently and you could do well and you could win consistently because you could become better at the game than the people that you were playing against. Unfortunately though, in modern Call of Duty, that's just simply no longer the case. First of all, we have skill-based matchmaking to contend with, so every second that you're playing the game, absolutely every single little thing about the way that you play, how much you move across the map, the ways that you traverse the map, when and where you fire your weapon, absolutely every single little tiny data point about you and how you play the game is collected, and it's used to pit you against opponents who are exactly like you. It's like playing in a match full of clones of yourself. And I already know at this point is where some people are going to say, oh, are you just afraid to play against people who are as good as you? Well, let me tell you something, it ain't about that. Go watch my streams, bro. I get stomped every single day in and out playing Battlefield 2042. And you know what? I keep going back for more because I don't care about losing. I want to win, but if I lose, you know what? I try and learn something and I try and do better next time. No, what skill-based matchmaking creates is just an incredibly stale and repetitive play environment. And unfortunately, it already feels like skill-based matchmaking is cranked up to infinity in Black Ops 7. The other thing contributing to this absolute fragfest playstyle is the maps. And I know that they said that the maps in Black Ops 7 were supposed to be bigger than the maps in Black Ops 6, and quite honestly, if they are, I can't tell, because the maps that we have to play on in this beta are all sectioned off into these little tiny distinct environments, all of these separate little rooms with all of these obnoxious Star Trek doors at the end of every hallway. So every room that you go into has 18 different doors, 18 different entrances, 37 different windows, 60,000 different ways that somebody can shoot you from absolutely every conceivable angle that you could ever think of. You've got grenades flying in from above. You've got people shooting you from underneath. It's just absolute mindless nonsense, and there's no way to play this intelligently. I don't know, maybe with more play on these maps, it'll get a little bit better, but if you ask me, these maps don't feel better than the Black Ops 6 maps. They just feel more chaotic. And speaking of chaotic, let's talk about Omnimovement. And I'll be honest, when it comes to Omnimovement, I don't really know what to think. I'm kind of torn here, because I like Omnimovement in theory. I actually think it's pretty cool. Being able to jump around and slide and dive in all different directions, it's actually a really neat mechanic, and I enjoy it when it works well. The problem is when you combine Omnimovement with the double wall jumps in these chaotic maps, it just turns Call of Duty into an absolute 100% twitch shooter. And Call of Duty has always been a little bit twitchy, but not an absolute twitch shooter where the only thing that matters is how fast you can do a 360 and get on target. It doesn't matter how smart you play, it doesn't matter how good your aim is, the only thing that matters is can you move faster than the person you're in a gunfight with. And this is where the mouse and keyboard comes in. And I'll be honest with you, I've been thinking about this, and I think I'm coming to the conclusion that my criticism here just might not really be fair, because it is absolutely obvious that this game, while it technically supports mouse and keyboard play, it is absolutely not designed for, nor are you intended to play this game with a mouse and keyboard. People who play with a controller are just at such an obvious, and I should mention, obviously intended advantage that my recommendation here is to only try playing this game with a mouse and keyboard if you're some kind of masochist who just hates yourself and wants to be miserable. Taking advantage of and even abusing Omnimovement is just so much easier with a controller, where you have 360 degrees of movement with a single thumbstick and the ability to very quickly and easily spam the jump and slide buttons. When you combine that with the absolute super glue sticky aim assist that you get on a controller, coming up against a mouse and keyboard, it's just absolutely no contest. And look, I already know that this is where you're going to say skill issue. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I am absolutely certain that I could spend the next 1,000 hours of my life practicing on the mouse and keyboard to become just as good or better than the average controller player. But let me tell you something, homie. Ain't nobody got time for that, especially when I could just pick up my controller right now and instantly be on that same level. And look, this is where I say that my criticisms here I think probably aren't even valid, because it's just clear that this game is absolutely intended to be played with a controller. So complaining about not being able to play with a mouse and keyboard, or complaining about being at a disadvantage with a mouse and keyboard, probably isn't even valid. So I guess I'm just stating all this here as a simple fact. If you like to play on the mouse and keyboard, this game just probably isn't for you. All right, at this point, I think I've probably been ranting long enough, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention one more thing. And listen, I'm not normally the type of person who likes to throw around the C word. Not because I don't think that cheating happens, but just because it feels like most of the time it's really not worth complaining about. Because if the developers aren't going to fix it, there really isn't much that we can do as players about cheating. And again, I tend to be very hesitant when it comes to actually calling people cheaters. However, I feel like it would be irresponsible if I didn't at least mention the fact that it does at least feel like there are already cheaters in the Black Ops 7 beta. And as you can see from the chat in one of my games here, I'm not the only one who thinks this. And I guess that's it. We'll call it here. Those are my initial thoughts on the Black Ops 7 beta. And I know I went off on a little bit of a rant here, but please understand that my frustration comes from the fact that I love this franchise. I want Call of Duty to be great. I want to see the game do well, and most of all, I want to be excited about it. Unfortunately, when it comes to Black Ops 7, that's just not how I'm feeling. At least, not right now. But let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Have you tried the Black Ops 7 beta yet? I'd be really interested to hear about other people's experiences with it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Are you having a completely different experience than I am? I'd be really interested to hear, so let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. Don't forget to beat the brakes off of that like button and subscribe. Also, come see me on Twitch. I'll probably be streaming some more Black Ops 7 this weekend. I figure the beta's out, so I might as well play it. I'm also going to be streaming Battlefield 6, and I stream all the time in general. So come see me, drop a line in the chat when you get there. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one real soon.